So this video is about pruning indeterminate tomatoes. If you don't know whether your tomato is indeterminate or determinate, look on the package or Google the name of the tomato. Something will tell you in the description in Google. If it says vining or anything like that, it's probably indeterminate. If it says something like bush, it's probably determinate. So, indeterminate tomatoes get very tall. They need to be staked. In a greenhouse, I think the record for an indeterminate tomato is like 64 feet. But they produce better if like this one already has flowers on it. And they produce a lot of tomatoes, but they'll produce better if they're pruned a bit. And for pruning, what you're looking for is at the base of a leaf, you see there's like a new plant coming out. So you just snip that guy off. So that what you're doing is you're keeping the stem directed, everything directed into the one main stem, and it'll produce little trusses of tomatoes off the main stem. So you just keep those and get rid of the rest. So there's lots of guys on this one, and just prune them off as close as you can. Quite often they'll just break off with your fingers, like a thumb and fingernail. So you don't need the fancy pruners. So anything that looks like it's a new growing end, like the top, you want to take that off. And you take them off when they're really small, like this one. Basically, as soon as they appear, I take them off. You can probably barely see it. There's a tiny one here. So we'll just pinch that one. And yeah, that's it. The other thing about indeterminate tomatoes is they must be staked. This one doesn't have a big enough stick. This is just small to hold it up. But it's going to need a stick that's probably a good 4 feet, possibly more. And I use a bunch of different kinds of stakes, but for this one in a pot, it'll probably be a wooden stake. And then you just need to clip it or tie it. This one has these little plastic clips, but that won't go around a very big stake. So I'll have to use something else.
So Jane, just to ask again, so you've got some side leaves there, but the difference between those and what you pruned off is the look of them. You said when they emerge, they look like the top of the tomato plant?
Yeah, where they have they'll have like a growing, like basically they would grow straight out. And the thing you could do, I don't know if it really works here in this climate because we don't really have a long enough season, but I know some people will actually put the bits they prune off in water and grow roots on them, and then you have a whole new tomato plant of the same variety.
Yeah. The
problem is in our season that may not be long enough to make it worthwhile. You know, you may not actually get a tomato off it. But it could be a cool idea though. Anyway.
Yeah.
So that's a pruned tomato.
Awesome, and we can see behind that there's some of these different methods for determinate and indeterminate tomatoes.
Right.
So the corkscrews are for the indeterminate, and the cages are for your determinate tomatoes.
Yeah. Determinates don't necessarily need a cage, but sometimes the fruit gets really heavy, so the extra support is nice. And it keeps them from being blown around too much and damaged by the wind.
Yeah. Well, thanks Jane for another great video.